an honest review of civil rights. I've actually been so proud of this channel, Basic Logic, because I put Asmongold on top of this fucking game, or on top of this channel, and it's been blowing up ever since. It's like one of the most base channels you can ever find. All statistically proven, very sound of mind.
As the crowning achievement of the civil rights movement that finally ended legal racism and brought about equality for black people in America.
There you go.
But today, America is still accused of institutional racism.
We're literally the least racist country on earth, and that's why we're being destroyed right now. That's the God's honest truth. That's what's insane.
Key liberties such as freedom of association were sacrificed, and racial tensions are rising.
Yep.
So what happened?
So we abolished all slavery. We abolished all racism first, by the way. And now that people know that we care about being called that word, they've weaponized it against us and made us weaker as a people to do what needs to be done and correct racists who are more likely to commit crimes because they can hide underneath the guise of, oh, you're only saying that because I'm insert race here. It's embarrassing. So it's slowing our progress as a country to fix what needs to be fixed.
This video, I will go over the Civil Rights Act and give my honest thoughts on its consequences.
Okay.
And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It helps the channel. One of the goals of the Civil Rights Act was to oppose Jim Crow laws that often forced private business owners to segregate and not service customers on the basis of group identity. This is a fair goal. Jim Crow laws were a flagrant breach of freedom of association. That is, the right of an individual to choose with whom he shares company and does business with, free from coercion. But instead of defending freedom of association, Title II of the Civil Rights Act instead mandated that an individual must do business with customers on the basis of identity, or suffer consequences. It's the same violation of liberty as Jim Crow, just in reverse. Why wasn't upholding freedom of association enough by itself? On paper, the idea that private owners were now forced to not reject customers on the basis of identity sounds good. An end to the irrational refusal to service people based solely on the color of their skin.
I believe you should absolutely be allowed to deny access to anybody who has teardrops on their face, wearing a grill, carrying a boombox with their pants hanging below their fucking ass. Like, are we going to expect that they're going to do good business? Absolutely not. Or, to be honest, anybody talking on speakerphone in a public fucking area. Like, no, they're not going to tip you regardless. You're losing nothing.
But things are rarely that simple. Economists have long argued that it is unnecessary to force private businesses to desegregate because the market already provides the proper incentives. An irrationally racist owner who refuses customers for no good reason is losing out on business and gets outcompeted by a non-racist rival, thus rendering the clause unnecessary as the market would sort this out on its own. But defenders of the Civil Rights Act argue that despite these market incentives, racist business practices still dominated large parts of America, even in the absence of Jim Crow laws. And they're not wrong. Both sides are factually correct. So what's going on here? There's only one answer. What if the racist business owner isn't being irrational? What if, hypothetically, there was a group of people who, on average, while being serviced, are more likely to refuse to pay, to steal items, to harass other customers and staff?
What if? What if? What if you want to know about what if, go to Waffle House at 3 a.m., bro. We'll see about some what if.
And generally cost the private owner more. What if he was forced to spend money on additional security, specifically to protect products typically used by that certain group? What if the additional business from the honest members of that group wasn't worth the increased risk of the dishonest members of that group?
You know what's crazy about these changing consumer habits, about these dishonest customers, is the fact that free-use soda fountains are going to become a thing of the past because they can't even control themselves there. And I think that's insane. Like, we're going to have to rely on some retard to get our fucking drink and explaining to them that you want 1.5 seconds of each fucking flavor to make your own fun drink is going to become a thing of the past. Because they're going to say, no, pick one. We are being punished by being too forgiving and too accepting.
That would explain the situation perfectly. Some of you may counter-argue, claiming that the real reason for the business owner's actions is because the majority of his clients are racist. So he'd lose out on business if he integrated. Perhaps that's true, but then we'd have to ask, why are his clients being...
I'm also underneath like the very real a mindset of there's like barely any actual real racist. But the problem is racism is it's too overly used to say, oh, so you don't want to be near this person who's carrying a fucking dagger and an AK-47 on their back? Oh, you're racist. No, you're just aware statistically that's probably not a good fucking idea. Like real racist, nobody actually thinks, oh, all Indians are like this. Oh, all whites are like this with 100% certainty. No, they're not like that. But they are aware of people who are more likely to. And then we use crisis analysis called prejudice to understand, is this person based off of their skin and the way they're dressed and the way they're talking, is this someone I want to risk being around right now? And the answer is probably not. I feel like more people should put in an effort to look kind and approachable so that way we as a society can come together. I really feel like wearing your pants around your ankles with the grill should just be illegal. It should. Hey, put a light dress code on your fucking people in a city. Your pants must be worn around your waist. Let's just have that. People have to wear pants right. Right? It's really that easy. It's not really that crazy of a law. Like, just dress like not a piece of shit where it doesn't look like you're trying to come off as a fucking murderer. Anyways.
Racist. Are they also irrational? Or is there something to it? The same logic applies to employment. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, no, pants below your ass, indecent exposure. Here's a fucking fine.
Probably the most controversial title forced an end to discrimination in hiring practices. It suffers the same issues as Title 2, except worse, because what counts as discrimination? A racist employer could always argue that a candidate came up short in some arbitrary way, and there'd be no way of telling if he was being discriminatory or genuine. So the government came up with a solution in future years: disparate outcomes. In essence, a court decides what counts as an identity group, compares it to another identity group, and if there's a discrepancy in outcome, assumes the cause is always discrimination.
Oh my God.
Because there's definitely nothing else that could possibly account for different...
Those who know this map, those who know, holy fuck.
...between group averages. It's effectively a legal mandate enforcing the blank slate theory, even though it's been debunked over and over again. The consequences were dire. Businesses now felt like they had to hire a certain number of minorities, or else face legal consequences. This led to the development of race quotas, affirmative action, and other travesties.
I want to once again give credit to all of our East Asian homies. Thank you. You guys have done a great job in America. You don't do any crime. You're all intelligent. You all provide great happiness and wealth to America. Thank you for overcoming the obstacles put on you in the 1940s and becoming one of the most upstanding, upright citizens here in America. East Asians, we love you. We love you very much.
The Civil Rights Act was meant to protect people from discrimination, but race quotas do exactly the opposite. A qualified candidate that would have been hired otherwise could be rejected simply because he wasn't of a protected group. And the company wants to preemptively protect themselves against accusations of discrimination. And perhaps even worse is the chosen enforcement system. If an individual felt like a company was discriminating against a protected group, they could file a report with a federal agency.
I was qualified and shit. Damn, bro. Damn.
Called the EEOC, which would investigate the claim and then demand some kind of compensation. The most common way of which was for the company to just pay them, which provided a financial incentive for citizens to constantly cry racism with no consequences. If the company refused, the EEOC would sue them and bring them to court.
Oh.
At that point, the company would have to try to prove their innocence, and the only surefire way of doing that is having equal representation among all protected groups, which is what caused the race quotas in the beginning. And as the number of protected groups expanded, not just race but also gender, orientation, etc., the worse these systems became, leading to modern-day DEI initiatives.
Yep.
Another controversial title was Title IV, focusing on desegregating education and building upon the Brown v. Board of Education ruling from 10 years prior. There's a misconception that the Civil Rights Act only targeted public education. In truth, while Title IV did only focus on public education, Title VI put pressure on private schools by withholding funding. And later, in 1976, following a Supreme Court decision, Title IV was effectively expanded to all forms of education. Parents were not happy about this. They really didn't want to put their kids in the same institutions as kids of other certain groups, and some opted for homeschooling or local community schooling.
I'm going to be homeschooling my kids 100%. I think the public school system is a fucking joke. It's going to require a lot of extra work, and I don't care. It'll be worth it to make sure that my kid grows up with a good head on his shoulders and to keep him safe from all this fucking gay-ass LGBTQ propaganda that's pushed in our fucking schools. You know, just good, upstanding citizens raised with nice American Christian values. I was also very good academically. Very, very, very good academically. Plus, I can hire a tutor as well for anything that I lack in. And Sophia was also great academically as well, at least up until 8th grade. Senior year, or 9th through 12th, I'll hire a fucking tutor. But nah, bro, my kids are not going to public schools. Absolutely not. 100%. And I enjoy the fact that I will be able to provide that for them. But I don't want to leave my kid becoming some fucking ruffian up to fucking chance. Absolutely not. Sending to public school is really just rolling the fucking dice. I'm not going to roll that. 100%. Hell no. Are the kids all right? Fuck no, they're not. Anyways. Good. I homeschooled my kids. They're in their 20s now. That's amazing. Every single homeschool kid I know, incredibly well-adjusted, incredibly great to be around, incredibly successful. I actually don't know anybody who is homeschooled who isn't just a good, upstanding citizen. I don't even know one. What about friends? It's very obvious. 1, I go to my friends and have them hang out with their kids. 2, they hang out with my friends and they hang out with me. 3, we'll play video games. 4, we'll get them to extracurricular activities like sports, which I'll coach. Really that easy. Like, for real, bro. Like, I don't know. I'll fucking talk to them. I have many friends. We'll all fucking talk to them. It's very simple.
But why?
Why do I want them to hang out with a bunch of fucking retards where all they know is Skibbity Toilet and Roblox? Is that going to be better for them? Or hanging out with some fucking gay kids? Is that going to be better? Fuck no. Yeah, there's also many homeschool groups where you can literally go through all the parents and all the kids to see what they're like before you have them integrate with that group. Like, integration and like socialization for kids is very, very, very easy, right? But people make up all this propaganda. Oh, they're not going to know how to talk to people. Why? Like, listen, I understand if you can't do it because you can't do it. But acting like homeschooling by parents who actually give a fuck isn't OP as shit, you're just wrong. Like, you're literally just wrong. My niece is 14 years old, and she's going into 11th grade because she skipped 3 grades because her parents homeschooled her all the way through middle school. And when she got to high school, she obliterated it so hard, they have to make her a junior. She's going to graduate high school at 15. She's fucking owning. Like, she's just absolutely destroying these people because when you homeschool, you get guaranteed attention for an hour and a half. And in school systems, you're just ignored and taught like shit. And you're being taught shit that doesn't fucking matter. Like, what's better for your kids? Teaching them with direct focus for an hour and a half a day and then getting them out, teaching them skills like cooking, cleaning, exploring, adventuring, working with their hands. You know, like, dude, school system, I'll be real, it's a glorified daycare and it's a joke and it's ruining children. And yes, I do feel this strongly about this. I think our school systems are a fucking joke and it's not going to change because that is exactly what they want to do to us. Anyways, just my opinion.
The official narrative is that they were just too racist, too full of irrational hatred, That might have been the case for some of them, but just like for the business owners, what if there was a more rational concern? Could it be that a certain group was known to, on average, be more delinquent, bully kids more, cause problems, and turn faculties into hotbeds for crime? Could it also be that due to innate differences between the averages of those groups, that the faculty would have to accommodate for their unique challenges, therefore reducing the overall quality of education for the rest? If that were the case, then it would make sense that these parents would prefer to homeschool or set up local faculties of trusted community members instead of sending their kids to public facilities, which is exactly what they did. But of course, that's not real integration, and homeschooling was a legal gray area at the time. So the federal government resorted to sending armed troops to force attendance in desegregated faculties. If parents didn't send their kids, they could be hit with fines, jail time, or even lose custody.
Jail time and losing custody because you want to make sure your kids are safe is insane. This reminds me of that story, which I believe in Missouri, where they were trying to get 6 underage girls to strip naked in front of a man in the women's locker room. And if they didn't, they'd be expelled. This shit is still happening, guys. It's still happening.
Here's a thought. If you need the threat of violence against another group to force them to associate with your group because they refuse to do so otherwise, maybe the problem isn't them. And why do you even want to associate with them so badly? If they're so irrationally hateful towards you, why would they make good associates? Unless, of course, there's something about their society that you want that your group can't replicate. Because here's the truth. If your group provides value to those they interact with, people will naturally want to associate. You don't need force. Forced association is only necessary for those who have nothing to offer, but plenty to take. So here's my review for the Civil Rights Act. 1 out of 10. It caused the very thing it claims to stand against. People are more racist now and more afraid than they've been in a long time.
I think so too.
And when you combine it with data from black families from before the 1960s and after.
If people were to just be taught, if you're kind, people will be kind to you. And if you want to integrate with people, then provide value to them just like they provide value to you. It'd be a lot easier than forcing everybody to integrate with people who they don't want to talk to.
Sure. I think it's clear no one won with this arrangement.
You know, like I feel like you can really tell what's providing value based on if there's an entire neighborhood full of them. Do you want to live there? My opinion.